There we go. Okay. Welcome to Sawdust session number 4. It's September 29th, 2007, and we're coming to you live from the Shopsmith National Woodworking Academy here in Dayton, Ohio. Our Sawdust sessions are divided into 4 segments. Today we're going to cover joinery on the Overarm router. We're going to change a Poly V belt in a Shopsmith headstock. We're going to sharpen some lathe tools and do a little veneering. After each segment, which lasts 15 minutes, give or take a half hour, we'll have a question and answer period. Now, unfortunately, something has gone wrong with our chat room. I imagine that you've noticed that you can register, but you're probably the only name up there. We don't know exactly what's going on with the code, and unfortunately, the person who can fix it is not here today. So, what I'm going to do is, when we get to the question and answer sessions, I will give you a cell phone number, and you can call us here if you have questions. As always, we caution you to always observe safety rules, wear eye protection, ear protection when you're using something like the router that generates high frequencies, keep a push stick within reach, use all machine guards, collect dust whenever you can, and remember to train your shop dog not to stand behind you when you're using power tools. Okay, remember this is not television. We've not got a lot of clever editing tricks. In fact, you're going to hear me give camera directions to Drew, and Drew is going to give directions to me whenever I'm off camera or doing something I shouldn't. There's no magic here, folks. We don't chuck wood in one side of the Mark V and it spits furniture out the other. We make our furniture here the old-fashioned way. We just sort of bumble our way through it. So, with that, let's get going with the Overarm router. There are 2 major woodworking tasks that you must perform with a router: joinery and decorative shapes. We're going to discuss joinery today, and I'm going to take you through some simple joints: rabbets, dados, grooves, and a mortise and a tenon. All of these things can be done with the router, the Overarm router, just the way it comes to you. However, you're going to notice that we've got some jigs up on the blackboard that you may want to download, and we'll go through these one by one. The first jig that I want to show you is this one-piece fence that you see behind the router arm. This can be positioned anywhere on the table, but in order to use it, first of all, you have to cut some grooves in the table. The grooves that you see here, if we can get there we go. In fact, I'll tilt this table slightly so you can see them a little bit better. These grooves are 3/8 inches wide, but they are counter board. There's a counter slot underneath it that is 1 inch wide. There is a 1-inch hole through each of these slots at the end right here, and what that means is you can take a 3/8 inch carriage bolt, insert it like this, and walk it up and down the groove without having to take the table off the router arm. It's pretty cool. The plans for making those grooves are also there on the blackboard. Okay, let me show you a couple pieces of wood. This is a piece from a clock case that Drew and I make in the Fundamentals of Woodworking class. It's got rabbets on either end, a rabbet in the back, a groove that holds the clock face, and a stopped dado here that holds the shelf that the face sits on. on this one piece, we've got all your major simple joints, your rabbet, your grooves, and your dados. And I'm going to show you how to do them right now on the router table. Let me set up, first of all, to make the back rabbet. Now, this rabbet is 3/8 of an inch deep. So the first thing we're going to do is set our depth of cut. We've got this little stop. I'm going to run over. Whoop! I'm going to run over here and knock the light over, folks. Didn't get to see that on camera. And come in on this stop here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. Now, this is the stop bolt. Right here, I have a drill bit, just an ordinary drill bit. It's 3/8 of an inch in diameter. I need to cut this groove 3/8 of an inch deep, so I'm going to set the stop using the bit as a feeler gauge. Pretty clever, huh? There you go. Now it's exactly at 3/8. That means if we, I'll go wide on this now, or wider. There we go. That means that this bit will now travel down 1/3 of an inch before it hits the stop. Now, right now the height adjustment lever isn't properly set. So in order to set that, I'm going to pull it out, put it up, and then there we go. Lost the drill bit. Now it's set. Okay. When you're cutting a rabbet, for safety, you want to bury the bit in the fence. That means that the bit will actually be inside this little semicircular cutout that you see. I'm going to bring the bit over the wood. I'm going to tighten one end of the fence, and then I'm going to move the other end back and forth and rotate the bit, and right there is where the bit will be cutting 1/4 of an inch deep according to my layout. Actually Drew's layout. So there we go. Now this is set up to route 3/8 inch deep and 1/4 inch wide. Because the bit turns clockwise, our feed is going to be in this direction, from my left to the right. Let me get some eye protection. Oh, and Drew is also advising me to drop the shield, very important. And some ear protection. And go. There's the rabbet for the back of the clock. Now, the next rabbets we have to route in the end, and these are 3/4 of an inch deep. So we're going to have to move the fence. Let me flip this off so I don't accidentally turn it on while I'm doing this. Bring this up to just over. Now I'm just going to move one side of the fence. While rotating the bit, it looks to me like that's it right there. Clamp the fence down again, tighten that wing nut. Now, obviously, if you want to go to the wide angle here, we can't push this through like this. We need something to hold it square. This is a little pusher that I made. All it is a piece of plywood with a vertical piece on the end. Comes in handy sometimes if you need to stand the board up like this. We're going to use this to feed the board through the router. Now we don't have to mess with the height. It's set. So let's get ready and make the end rabbets. Go, the end rabbets, and they line up perfectly with the back rabbets. They're exactly the same level. All right, next on our menu is the stopped groove that holds the clock face. For this, we're going to switch bits. So let's turn off the router, raise it slightly. Loosen the bit in the collar. And replace it with a 1/4 inch bit. Now, this time around, in order to set the depth, we're going to use the rabbet itself. We're going to drop this down. Drop this down to the bit hits the wood, and there it is right there. Set stop, and we're ready to cut the depth. Now let's move our fence. Position the bit over the marks. I've tightened down one side of the fence. Now I'm going to move this back and forth until it's right between the lines. Yeah, maybe a little hair back. There we go. Fence is tight. that's it, folks. That's the groove. One to go. We're going to do the shelf dado. This is half an inch wide, so once again we've got to change these bits. Okay, all right. Now, there we go. Now, for this particular joint, we're going to need our next jig, which is a table. Let's take the fence off. See how simple that works? Set it over here. Get rid of some sawdust. And put this on. This is a sliding table. You can see where I'm going with this, can't you? All right, we put the fence in the sliding table this time. And because we want to cut this groove perfectly square to the face of the wood, I'm going to square up the fence on the table using a combination square. There we go. Let's take the wood. Now, once again, we got to set our depth. These, all of these things are the same depth, so we're going to go down, touch the rabbet with a half-inch bit, adjust the stop, and lock it in place. Now, once again, I'll need to. I need to adjust the position of the lever. There we go. And now, that's off. Put this right over where the dado is going to be. Get it centered between the two lines. And I've got these small toggle clamps here that I've added to the fence, and I'm going to use those to lock the wood down. There we go. Okay, we're ready. Incidentally, guys, with this setup and the router fully extended, you can do dados up to 18 inches wide, or not 18 inches wide, 18 inches long. Let me get. Just forgot my hearing protection there. And that's that. That's a fairly complex piece of joinery. With a wide angle. And we made that in just a few minutes. Let's move on quickly to the Mortise and Tenon. Now the mortise is just almost exactly like the groove, except that it's stopped at both ends. So we're going to put the fence back in place here. Okay, Katie, a little bit. All right, now I want to make this, get a marking gauge here. Got this set up to mark mark where I want the mortise. Once again, I put this over the mortise. Turn it, position the bit so that it's between the marks. This time I'm going to set the depth using the shaft of a router bit, since I'm using 1/2-inch router bits. That'll set those to a 1/2-inch depth. Feed again is left to right. And there's a 1/2-inch mortise. If we want to, you could square the corners of that with a chisel, or you can round the ends of the tenon. Doesn't matter. Now, speaking of tenons, that's the last thing to make here, and in order to do that, we're going to have to change from vertical routing to horizontal routing. So I'm going to lay the router over here. Change the position of the table. And this time, we're going to actually fasten the sliding table down so that it doesn't move. With a couple of bolts here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Long bolts. Those are the bolts from right there. Now you'll remember when I told you that we need to bury the bit when we route. This is the reason for the cutout on the on one end of your of the sliding table. That cutout. I'm a little ahead of myself here. That cutout allows you to bury the bit horizontally in the table. The this is still a new table, folks, and it does gets kind of hard to move these carriage bolts. There we go. Now we're also going to bury the bit behind a fence or a backstop here. This this will help us guide the wood over the place to make the tenon. Whoops, I got this on backwards. Hang on. Now you don't necessarily have to bolt the backstop down. You could just clamp it on if you were so inclined. But you do need to remember to put a little cutout in here. Let me show you this cutout right in there. That fits over the collet. In fact, because I seem to have misplaced a bolt, we are going to clamp this down. Let's get the pusher. And okay, now first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the length of our tenon. The mortise was a 1/2 inch deep, so the tenon should be a 1/2 inch long, or just shy of it, maybe about a 1/64 of an inch shy. So I'm just measuring right there with a ruler that the bit now protrudes out from the backstop 1/2 inch. Clamp that down. Now the next thing to do is we've got to find 0 on this on the router where it protrudes. If we lower the table to where, see at this point, and rotate this, see that board walk sideways? The bit is now protruded above the table. Let's do this and slowly raise the table, and right there is where the wood stops. Well, not quite there. Right there is where the wood stops walking. We're getting in the home stretch here. Okay. Now, underneath this table, and I'm going to ask Drew to move one of the cameras so you can see what I'm doing. I've got one of our stop collars. I'm going to take that collar. This is the one with the tapes underneath it. I'm going to take that collar, and I'm going to turn it twice all the way around. Let's see, that's 16. Once and twice. That should allow me to lower the table precisely 1/8 of an inch. See? And now goes down 1/8 of an inch. This will mean that I'll take an eighth when I pass the board over the bit. I'll take an eighth of an inch off, and since the board is 3/4 of an inch, if I take an eighth of an inch off each side, the tenon or the left should be a half an inch thick. So let's see if my math is correct. I don't want to take the whole bite at once, so I'm going to raise this a little bit. Get the foot switched where I can reach it. Put my hearing protection on. Switch on. If I wanted to cut shoulders in this, I could do it like so. And then keep on dropping the wood down until I get the shoulders cut as deep as I need them. Now, this wood, you probably can't see it at the screen resolution, but it did feather a little bit right here at the shoulder. You can easily stop that from happening by scoring the wood with a marking gauge or a knife. Let's see how close we came to half an inch. It's in millimeters. Let's get to 5. Okay, whoa, 504. That's not bad. Let's see if it fits. And it does. Pretty good too. Okay. I'd have to cut the shoulders down more, but the tenon is fitting pretty nicely. That's it, guys. That's how you make dados, rabbets, screws, mortises, and tenons.